Today we're going to talk about change, talk about affecting our lives. You know, too often we simply acquiesce to, oh well, these issues that I have, they're just going to be my issues. And so many of us have attempted to change in life, but at a particular point in time we decided to, oh well, I guess this is just the way that it is, you know. From my perspective, it's not. For me personally, I'm always challenging myself, always trying to make myself better. And maybe because when I was younger, in my younger years, I really wasn't trying to get better, or should I say, I didn't realize there was anything wrong. And I was simply enhancing the lifestyle that I had. It was a somewhat destructive lifestyle. I wasn't trying to make myself better, okay? And so in my old age now, now I'm on it, working hard, challenging myself physically, mentally, you know, in every way to make myself better. It's like I'm a project in real time, and it seems that as I begin to observe myself, if I see things that are not quite right, I put my hand to fixing them. Okay, and so I guess this particular program is about how to make things happen, how to make the change happen, how to recognize an area of life that is not satisfactory and fix it. Okay, and so we're going to start, you know, in the Bible and look at this particular set of verses in the book of Matthew, the 13th chapter. And I think most of us that have been, you know, influenced by church or by religion, as well aware of the parable of the sower and the seeds. Okay, so Matthew 13, verse 4 through 8. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. And so this is going to be the foundation of pretty much what we're talking about today. Because this parable of the sower and the seeds, you know, we use it in churches to speak on, you know, when you hear the word or you hear a message, and you know, how you receive that message, and how long you last or how long you don't last in it, you know, depending on the condition of the ground the seed was sown in. Okay, but what I want to suggest today is that this particular parable of the sower and the seed, it has to do with just about everything in life that we desire to put our hand to do, whether these things work or they don't work. You know, how many times have we, you know, maybe signed up for a gym membership because we were really motivated and excited, and maybe went to the gym maybe for a week or two, and then just quit going. And this is like that seed, you know, being sown, and there was no root, you know. And so it didn't last. And even the sun came up and scorched it, you know, the cares of the world, the things, the thoughts, other things, life, real life happens, you know. I practiced the martial art for many, many years of my life, starting as a young teenager. But as I grew older, you know, I had responsibilities, and the martial art practices sort of fell to the wayside. And so every so often I'd be, through the years, even in my 20s and in my 30s, I'd be walking through the grocery store and to the magazine section and see a martial art magazine and get excited and go to the phone book, back in those days, the phone book, and find a martial arts school and join. So you know, I tell people often that, you know, I've practiced a couple different types of martial art, Taekwondo and Okinawan karate and Kung Fu and all this. The reason is because through the years, I would just get that bug, and then I'd join a club, and then I'd work out with them maybe 5-6 months, the longest might be a year, and then I'd quit. simply because of the cares of the world, things going on in my life. And the more things went on in my life, the less time I had, for the martial art. But I get that bug. But just could not continue, okay? And so what I'm suggesting is that's how it is in life, in every single thing that we put our hand to do. And so this message, this program today is directed at whatever it is your issue is, whatever it is the desire of your heart is to change, something about you that you're not satisfied, it's attainable. Everything is attainable. Now the caveat is, look, you can affect yourself. You can change yourself, but you can't change other people, okay? So this isn't about how to make the relationship work, because a relationship takes more than one person. But what I'm suggesting is begin to change yourself, okay? And the folks around you, maybe poor relationship, a situation that's just not quite right, you can influence that situation simply by making yourself right, okay? Because you've heard the old phrase, misery loves company, right? Well, it's true. And so I don't, not that an individual would love for you to be miserable, but there is like a relief when you're not the only one going through. So folks will drag you down, not intentionally, but simply because of their own disposition. Okay, so sometimes you have to separate yourself from that situation. And I don't necessarily mean move out of your house if it's your spouse, or get rid of your children if they're your children. But you have to be able to compartmentalize the issue that you can't really seem to fix, and just focus on that part that you can be fixed, and everything that pertains to you personally can be fixed, okay? So that's what you need to work on. I remember years ago I had an abdominal injury, a very serious one, and I was sidelined. Didn't know what I was going to do. Some people thought it was a hernia, double hernia, whatever. I didn't know, but I was determined to fix myself. Now the reality is I searched the internet, I looked for teas and stress relief and all, because I didn't know what exactly was wrong, and I was just hoping it was something not too serious, But I came to a point to realize that I could not fix it, okay? But still I was determined to fix myself. So what I did was I found this exercise program, this martial art cardio program that was very taxing, which I still do today, 10 years later. It consisted of like 1,000 punches and 900 kicks in like 40 minutes. And so I began to exercise. I was very serious pain in my abdomen. So if I was attempting an exercise that was very uncomfortable there, I wouldn't do that exercise, but I would do all the rest of the exercises. And so in a sense, if you can get this vision in your mind, I was able to exercise all the well parts of my body. And I'm no doctor, but in about 6 to 7 months, I was 100% well. And in my mind, what I'm thinking, and this may not be medically correct, but I had the issue here that was some kind of terrible strain. But all around the issue was health, so I just exercise, and what I envisioned in my mind is that the good health I was creating was encroaching upon that unwellness, and eventually the unwellness became well, simply because I was affecting everything that was around the unwellness, and the everything around the unwellness, as it became more healthy and stronger, it began to influence the unhealthy part, until eventually I was well. And so what I'm suggesting, that's how it is in our lives, in our relationships, is that you can't change an individual, but you can exercise every well part in you, and you will become an influence to that individual. And I've noticed it in my own life, even with my child, at home, getting ready to go to college and all. But sometimes, you need to eat right, you need to exercise, you can be ragging on somebody, insisting, and they seem to be putting up a guard. But when you just stop ragging on them, stop insisting, and just take care of yourself, be the example in front of them, that right there is a tremendous influence. The child said, and then my daughter started eating right and exercising, simply because, you're not ragging on them, but you're just being the example, okay? And so that's really what we want to use as an analogy, is the analogy of the seed and the sower. Recognizing that if this is all in your own mind, okay? How you receive, how you determine you want to create a wellness in you, okay? The key to wellness is your desire, okay? You have to have a desire. You have to want to. I can pretty much tell you this, that anything that you want to do in life, you know, within reason, I wouldn't be jumping off a building and trying to fly or anything like that, but I mean, anything that you want to accomplish in life, it's accomplishable. You can do it. And I'm sitting here telling you as an example of someone who has. Many of you know that when I was 50 years old, that's when Obama became president. It was announced in November. And on my birthday, it was announced that he had won that first presidency. And a lot of us were happy. I was amazed. I was thrilled. But then I got to thinking. It wasn't long. I got to thinking that same day. It was like, man, this guy, he's younger than me. He had a Harvard education, Harvard law professor, an attorney, senator from Chicago, just became president. And I had a high school diploma. So I decided I was going to go to school just to get an associate degree. To make a long story short, 10 years later, I earned my MBA. So I started school when I was 50. 60, I earned my MBA. It's possible. I just kept going, didn't stop. Sometimes I just take a course, graduate studies. You know, I'm still a dad, I'm still a husband, I still have a job. Yeah, I'm still as a minister. You know, I had my plate full. But so there were times I was only taking like one course, you know, a quarter. But I didn't quit. I persevered. Matter of fact, I did quit twice, only for a quarter. During my associate degree, I was in this college algebra class. I didn't think I was going to make it. So I dropped that instructor, and then the next quarter I picked up another one and graduated. When I was going for my bachelor's degree, I think it was in some kind of accounting. I don't know what, 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever, but I was somewhere in accounting, and I was just lost, and I wasn't going to make it. I was so discouraged. And so I quit. And I just went on like a week vacation to an amusement park. And I had determined that I quit. But by the time I was through with that vacation, I had become reinvigorated. And I just continued. I was just a week behind. Earned my bachelor's degree and then went on to earn my MBA. Okay. So I can tell you, might seem impossible, but it's not. Whatever it is you're facing. The health, man. I was up to like 211, 212 pounds. And I was unhealthy. Foods I was eating and all that stuff, man. It was like maybe 13 or 14 years ago. I decided for a change. Right now I'm at 185. My target weight is 178. I was at 211, okay? So that's possible. Age 63, about 2 days before my 63rd birthday, I became a certified scuba diver. Right now, I decided to learn to speak Spanish fluently, and I'm on lesson 21 of my studies. I've been studying since August. What I'm suggesting is simply, you throwing all these things out there is just that whatever you want to do, you can do. Okay, my education level increased exponentially. Okay, and who'd have thought? I mean, I was a swimmer, but now I'm a scuba diver. Who'd have thought that? And the Spanish language, I'm doing pretty good. Lesson 21, it's a struggle sometimes, but I'm just saying is whatever you want to accomplish, you can do. The key is just not to give up. And not to giving up, using the analogy of the sower and the seed, is planting those roots deep. Those roots would be your desire, would be your reason. And your reason can't be anything other than simply just you, okay? You might say, well, I want to get to looking good so I can impress that person. That's not a deep root. What happens when that person just goes off and hooks up with somebody else? Then it's done, okay? What I'm saying is you need to find that root within yourself, no matter what, and just make it happen. It can happen, and that root is simply your decision. Your decision. And whatever it is in life, you just make the decision, create a game plan, and walk it out. Anything. And I think one of the biggest issues that we have, in not being able to accomplish these desires or these goals that we set for ourselves is that we're looking for results too soon, okay? Don't work for the results, okay? Focus on the journey. Begin to enjoy the journey. Embrace the journey. Because if you're functioning on embracing the journey, the goal is going to manifest. The goal is going to take care of itself. But if you're forever looking at how far away that goal is, waiting for the goal, it can get very, very distressing, very uncomfortable, kind of discouraging at times. So you don't look at the goal. So I'm telling you this, like if you're, say you're, I'm going to be exaggerating, say you're 400 pounds, okay, over 400 pounds. I won't say 400 pounds of overweight, but we don't have to go there, just 400 pounds, okay? And you want to lose weight. I mean, you want to get in shape. Man, that's almost unbelievable. That could be very discouraging. Especially when you're looking in the mirror every day, looking at that scale every day, man, and you're trying to exercise, you're trying to eat right, but man, you've been doing this now for 2 weeks, look at that scale, and it's still not happening. Looking in the mirror, and it's still not happening. So then we get discouraged. I remember back in the day when I used to smoke, man, I was smoking like 2.5 packs of cigarettes a day, years and years and years ago. And like everybody that smoked, I would try to quit time to time. I would not be successful. And it would seem that every time I was not successful, I'd end up smoking more cigarettes than I was before I had quit. I think because I just acquiesced to the fact that, oh, well, this is what I'm going to do, I might as well do it. And I believe we're that way with food, we're that way with our ill health, we're that way with our lack of exercise, we're that way with so many things in life. We've just given up because we failed. And so what I'm sharing with you today is how not to fail. How not to be like that seed that was planted, on shallow ground that didn't have any root. Not that seed that sprang up so quick, and then was scorched by the sun, but to be that seed planted in good ground where the roots grow deep and the harvest is great. Okay, that's what we're talking about today, okay? And it's simply the desire has to be first within you. And the reality, the scale of the judge of how successful you are can't be what that scale looks like, what you look like, or even the education, man. Now let me get back to my education. When I got the MBA in 10 years, let me just be clear. I wasn't going for an MBA. I was just going for an associate degree and I was going to be done. Okay, and then after I got the associate degree, I said, well, I'll just continue. Then I went on and earned a bachelor's degree, and then I was done. But then after the bachelor's degree, I decided to keep on going and earn that MBA, okay? So I wasn't really looking way, way far ahead. I think if when I started at Sinclair Community College, and I had been thinking about I'm going to have an MBA one day, and that's what I'm shooting for, I don't think I would have made it. I just wherever I was, that's where I was, that's what I focused on. And even in the course of getting that associate degree, the classes, I enjoyed the classes. I enjoyed Sinclair. It's a wonderful college. One of my negatives after I graduated with that associate degree was that I was no longer going to Sinclair because it was a beautiful college, so comfortable. I loved it because I enjoyed every moment. I wasn't that concerned about the end goal. I was simply concerned about the journey, the moment that I was in, the class that I was in at that moment, the book that I was studying, or the chapter in the book, or the quiz that I was taking, whatever. I wasn't looking far off. I was just dealing with what I had. And so I'm suggesting that is a very, very important key. Because trying to look at the end goal continuously can be very overwhelming when you are so far away, But if you just focus on where you're at, you'll get there. I spent 29 years as a mailman in Dayton. And I think maybe that has something to do with my perspective, And that I might have a route that was, 6 hours long and maybe 400, houses on that route in the course of a day. If when I started, I'm thinking about, man, I got to get to that last house, so that could be very distressing. But as it turned out, everything was in order. And all I had to do was focus on where I was and where I was going next. And then where I was going after that and after that. And if I just followed the path, followed the journey, the end was going to take care of itself. I would end up exactly where I was supposed to be. And this is what we're talking about today, is how do we get there? We don't worry about the end result. We don't worry about how am I going to get there, how close am I, and all that. Just handle your business where you're at the moment. And you'll get to where exactly you're supposed to be. And change must be permanent. The issue that we have is that we make a decision that, well, I'm going to do this for 3 months, or I'm going to do this for 6 months, or I'm going to do this till I hit a particular target weight, target goal. And so that creates either one or two, or both problems. Number one is we're not supposed to be looking at our weight, okay? We're not supposed to be worried about what we look like, because it might be a slow process, okay? And so that's going to be discouraging. So that's a negative, target weight, target goal. Then I'll just go back to normal. I'm going to quit smoking cigarettes for 3 months, and then I'm just going to start smoking again. How much sense does that make? Maintain the reason why. Why is it? First of all, why are you where you are? And so how nonsensical it would be to simply have a target weight and then you just go back to normal. It's not going to work. Second thing, and it's tied right into that, is whatever change you decide to make. I mean, if it's that important, make it permanent. This is no longer simply an adjustment or something temporary, something until I attain a goal. This is simply my new lifestyle, okay? And that is the key. The key is consistency. That's the key to everything in life. Everything successful in life is finding out how to do something and then simply repeating the process over and over and over and over again. Consistency. So for me, my healthy eating, I eat very, very healthy every day, or at least the days that I work, because I have a particular process that fits within my schedule, okay? I do a carnation breakfast. I do a mug of coffee, 2 waters, first thing in the morning, bowl of oatmeal, vitamins, prunes, matcha tea, matcha mushroom mix, a green tea, an egg, hard-boiled egg, grapes, sunflower seeds, apple, banana, green magma, like this barley grass drink, banana, I believe I said. All that stuff. Probably a couple more things that are just, sesame seeds, or not sesame seeds, sunflower seeds. And so what I do is I have a particular, order in which I eat them, throughout the day. So maybe an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours intervals. And so I'm looking forward to the apple. I'm looking forward to the yogurt. I'm looking forward either to the banana or to the grapes. I'm looking forward to them. And so I start this thing at like maybe 5:30 in the morning. And the grapes, the last part of it, is like 4 o'clock. And so this simply became my life. I've been doing this for years. I can't tell you how many years. I've adjusted this, added this, subtracted that, and now I think I found the right combination, but this is my life. And so there's not a time limit on there. And that's the key, man. I was speaking to this woman, man, she was like a few 100 pounds, overweight. And she needed help. And I shared with her, what I do, what I just shared with you. And her response was, well, that's just too boring. I can't do that. And so it never happened for her. It never worked for her. And what I'm suggesting is things like that, like eating, for example. What is the purpose of eating? I think the problem is, we have become spoiled in the sense that we have turned our food into entertainment. That has to keep us excited, and all that. But to me, the excitement is being in good health. It is walking around not feeling a heavy gut. It's the feeling like your body is lean, feeling like you're building some muscle, feeling that you're healthy, man. I'll be 65 this year. I'm feeling pretty good. And so what I'm suggesting is we have to make life changes, determining life changes. And again, using the mailman analogy, if you're simply doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to end up where you're supposed to end up. And now for me, even as it pertains to food, because I know that's a lot of our issues. Not just in America, but across the world, we're kind of out of shape, right? But so for me, I'm kind of a finicky eater. And a lot of foods that are good for you, like cauliflower and, asparagus and all those avocados and all these things that are really powerful, beans of, different kinds of beans and all that good stuff. I don't like that stuff, very finicky eater. And so what I did, I don't like failure either, okay? So I went to the internet and I pulled out, healthy foods that are healthy, good for you. And I went to like 5 different sites or so, and I had a word page there, so I'd copy and paste. So I had like 3 pages of all the foods that are good for you, okay? Healthy foods, right? And then I printed that list, got a little pencil out, and I just marked out everything on that list that I didn't like. So all I had left on this list were all the healthy foods that are good for you and the ones that I like. Okay, now some things I had to get used to, like the prunes, even the sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are good for you, but not the salt. Okay, and the shell is just a waste of time. Okay, so I buy the sunflower seeds that are already shelled and that are unsalted, and so I eat a little half bag of them. Enough. But when I first started just taking a mouthful and munching on them, it was like, geez, I don't know if I can keep this up. But now I love them, okay? So certain things that are good for you, you have to acquire a taste for. But, this is like a permanent thing in my life. Every morning I grind my coffee beans. And like every 3rd morning I make hard-boiled eggs, and I just eat them, eat one each day. And so this is what I do, and I don't miss. And it's the same with my workout. I work out every single morning. Whether I'm at work or not, I work out every single morning. And to be honest with you, I cannot remember the last time I did not work out in a day. Okay? It's like that. And I have a regular job that starts at 8 o'clock. So I get that workout done in the morning. And so the point is consistency. And that's the way to attain anything that you want to in life. That's how I earned my education. It was consistency. It wasn't easy. But I just walked one moment at a time, and I got there. As far as your health, as far as your food, you don't look in the mirror, don't worry about the scale, although I did. But because I have a different kind of mind, I don't mind if it doesn't change. And eventually you start seeing the changes. But just be consistent. Everything that you put your hand to do, just be consistent and you'll get there. Don't worry about changing other people. It's just about you. Don't worry about seeing the results. For me, say I weighed like 400 pounds, okay? And I want to be healthy. I'm not saying in my mind I need to lose 200 pounds. I'm saying in my mind that from this day forth, my lifestyle has changed. From this day forth, I'm not eating that stuff anymore. From this day forth, I'm not eating late at night, laying down in front of the TV or, all that stuff. I'm not doing that unless I'm eating a salad or something. But my lifestyle has changed. I don't worry about if tomorrow I weigh 399. You really don't even have to look at the scale, really. Just change your lifestyle. Your body knows what to do. Just feed it the right fuel. Your body will take care of itself, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Take care of yourself. Too often we dress up the outside because we've acquiesced to failure on the inside. No, don't do that. Let me do this. Let me get better clothes. Let me get nicer shoes. Let me do this. Let me do that. Rather than deal with the real issue. Your body knows exactly what to do as you begin feeding it the right fuel, okay? And it'll take time, but it took you time to get here. It doesn't matter. You have all the time in the world. We're all going to die one day. Well, I don't know. I think I'm working on some immortality here, but death comes, and then it doesn't matter anyway. So every day you're alive, just my thing is this. Just know this. Not looking at the scale, not looking in the mirror, not looking at how many more classes you have to take before you get the degree, not looking at all that. Just consider that. Say you're 400 pounds. I don't know why that number keeps sticking in my mind. Somebody out there now. I don't know why. But let's say you're 400 pounds. And you ate right today, okay? And you did a couple of push-ups and maybe a sit-up or two. You don't see any results. But the way to look at it is, I am better off today than I was yesterday. And then you do it the next day, and you're better off today than you were yesterday. And that's the mindset. So you may not see you won't see any results. But just know that you're further along than you were the day before. That's the way to do it. Okay, for real. And so don't quit. Now you're gonna fail sometimes, but don't. I mean, embrace the failure in that you can use it to give you motivation not to fail again or so soon next time. But don't fail and acquiesce to, oh well, I can't make it, and just finish it off. Now let me give you, when I was smoking cigarettes, I was up to like 2.5 packs a day. I was back at NCR Corporation at the time, and at that time you could smoke in the offices, you know, and so that's why I mean, if I was getting up from my seat to go to the water fountain, I'd light a cigarette just for the walk to the water fountain. I mean, that's how it was. I loved to smoke cigarettes. I quit so many times. And so I was in a snack room one day, the snack area, and I saw this little pamphlet, How to Stop Smoking Cigarettes. So I read it. And I did exactly what that pamphlet said. And I quit smoking cigarettes. Let me share with you, because it really applies to everything in life that we want to have victory over, that we want to be successful, okay? If it's food, if it's cigarettes, whatever it is, okay? And so the pamphlet, it said, determine that you quit smoking cigarettes. Shoot, that's easy. Okay, I quit smoking cigarettes. And then quit. That it? Now, it also said take up a sport that you used to do when you were younger, so I joined a martial art club. And basically, you don't smoke anymore. But if you get a real craving to smoke, you know what I'm talking about, right? Go ahead and smoke. But only smoke half a cigarette. And then throw the cigarette away. Don't stick it back in the pack to save it for next time for economic reasons. Because, you know, back in my day, cigarettes were like 75 cents. You know, I know they're very expensive now, a pack of cigarettes. Okay, so what has that done? Smoke a half a cigarette and then throw it away. What it's done is, what kills you whenever you try to do anything like that is the craving. Because it's an emotional thing, it's a psychological thing. I want one, I want one, I want one. And then it just grows and grows in you because I'm not going to have one, I'm not going to have one. That's not going to work. Eventually you're going to give in. So just go ahead and give in. Don't wait. You get that craving, or that craving comes about, go ahead and smoke half a cigarette. And then throw the other half away. Now it's very important to throw it away, not to save it. So what you've done is you've satisfied the craving. So that's not a pressure anymore. And as well, you're throwing money away. so you kind of disappointed in yourself because you broke. But then, and that's one. You satisfied the craving, so that no longer exists. And as well, you just threw away some money because cigarettes cost a lot of money. So right there. Those are the 3 psychological factors that are weighing on your mind, okay? And that's the motivation, man. I don't want to be disappointed in myself anymore, okay? That craving, that's easily satisfied. Just smoke half a cigarette. Plus, I just threw away some money. What's going to happen is you're going to have that craving again. But it's going to be maybe a week longer the next time. And maybe the time after that, maybe it's going to be a month longer before you get that craving. Man, one day it was like I realized, wait a minute, I don't smoke anymore. That's how it is with everything that you're trying to accomplish. That's like a habit or even an addiction. The craving is what kills you. Satisfy the craving and then throw away the money. And you'll get over it soon. I don't smoke cigarettes. And I can tell you, I love to smoke cigarettes. I love the whole process. I love lighting the cigarette. I love taking the smoke up through my nose, blowing out smoke rings. I mean, I love the whole thing about smoking cigarettes. But it was bad for me. And that pamphlet helped me. I'm saying apply that principle to everything in life. You know, so if you're on this, if you've changed the food that you eat, and I'm telling you this, for me personally, now this whole thing that I'm doing, you know, as far as the food, everything I just laid out, and how I do it through the day and everything, by the time I get off of work, I'm not even really hungry. I can little snack, some tostados, chips, or, you know, even like a chicken breast or a pork chop, thin pork chop, or even chicken wings, but even if I want to eat a whole pizza by myself, I'm not going to anymore. But it wouldn't matter because 90+% of my life I'm eating properly. So then think about this. So really, when I'm eating right the way that I do, I can eat anything I want to. If I'm somewhere and they're having cake or donuts, or I don't care, whatever it is, I can eat it. Because I know that almost 95% of my life I'm eating properly. So that means every time I see something that I want that's not healthy, I can eat it. So there is no craving. So I have no cravings that I'm trying to fight. I have none of that. Because I eat right most of the time consistently. So anytime I see something that I want that's not healthy, I can eat that, and it's not going to have an adverse effect on me because I'm eating right most of the time, okay? And what I'm eating right are things that I like, that I love the taste of, I look forward to. So I'm satisfied in the foods that I eat every day. And as well, if I just want to eat something that's totally outside of good sense and good health, it doesn't matter because I'm eating right most of the time. So I'm just sharing that with you. Yeah, apply this in life, okay? So now we're going to segue to a particular topic as we close about being alone. Because we're going to be addressing so many issues in life in this program. And today we're going to start with being alone. What about being alone? There's a little song like, "One is the loneliest number." I don't remember who sang that. Maybe the Beatles or something. I don't know. But yeah, we're alone. And sometimes that can be pretty depressing, to be alone. So what do we do about that? Well, consider aloneness. Guess what? You are alone. I think being alone and even feeling lonely, the recognition of that no one's in my life, I'm by myself, I'm all alone, I think that's probably a more healthy mindset than most people because it is a reality. You are alone. Embrace that and recognize that everyone is alone. You're going to find people who are the life of the party, who are out there. Sometimes we sit back, man, I wish I was like that person. They're out there in the mix, in the mix, in the mix. Often that's simply a facade. That's a mask. An individual not wanting to face the loneliness, the alone time. But alone is a reality. And so when you embrace that which is real, alone, it's not such a bad thing. Enjoy yourself alone. So now what do you do? Because nobody's going to want to be alone forever. I think the healthy mindset is to recognize you are alone and then just to go about fixing it temporarily, okay? Because you are permanently alone. We are within these bodies, right? And so I just go somewhere. Go to school. Go to the library. Join a civic, organization. Do some volunteer work. Whatever. Go where people are and interact with them. Because everyone is alone. We're all alone, but everyone likes interaction pretty much. Some people seem like they don't like it only because they don't know how to deal with it. But if you're dealing with yourself and you don't want to be alone, just go places where people are. Now let me give you a caveat, or maybe not a warning, but a suggestion. Don't go to these places looking for a relationship, okay? Because we're going back to that seed again. You're planting that seed too quick, no roots. Don't go looking for a relationship in those places. Just embrace the environment for what it is. Enjoy the interaction. I mean, if you're in school, in class, go to class, be around people, learn something, increase your worldview. As well, you can relate to people in the classroom. Who knows, the teacher might put you in little small groups to work on projects together. And so I'm suggesting is don't try to make a relationship thing out of it. Just enjoy the situation for what it is. What will grow, what should grow, will grow. Like a little seed that you plant in the ground, I mean, you don't have to be worrying about when it's going to come up. You just put it in there and it comes up. And besides that, maybe you are the seed, right, in this particular analogy. The seed itself has no clue on what it's going to be, on what it should be. Okay? The seed is just planted in the ground, and what naturally happens will happen. Okay? So I'm suggesting is if you're lonely, just place yourself where other people are, interact with them, not trying to make anything more out of it than what it is. And something will probably grow from it, and if it does, it will be more healthy. How's that? You don't have to be alone. Embrace your alone time. Go to places where people are, interact with them, and you'll satisfy your loneliness. And who knows what can come about from that. Well, I know I've bit your ear. I've talked a lot today. I think this is a very important topic for us not to give up, okay? And if you contact me, I think through the website that's going to reflect after this program, I can sort of give you a template, on how I do my food. And of course, my tastes are not like your taste. You would Google, all the healthy foods, and then you would go through that list and determine all the things that you like. And then take the template that I would provide for you, and just substitute the foods that I have chosen for the foods that you have chosen. And make this your permanent lifestyle. You won't need that list after a while. It's just every day. Every morning I get all that stuff together. And then go about my day. And you can too. And I'm suggesting that if you have patience, don't look for the results. Just know that the results will take care of themselves if you do what you're supposed to be doing. Just do what you're supposed to be doing and enjoy the process. I was speaking to this guy once, a Vietnamese friend of mine. I was considering Buddhism, not for myself, but just thinking about it, wanting to understand. Because this little guy, man, where I worked, he's the hardest worker, the toughest worker. He's not in the best shape, but he's the best worker. Why is that? So I wanted to know. And what he was telling me is that from the Buddhist perspective, that he wasn't really looking at the long-term goal. He was just looking at the moment that he was in and putting his all into the moment that he was in. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. Not to worry about out there. Just deal with where you're at. Every step of the way. Just make sure it's right. Make sure it's healthy. And I promise you, you'll end up exactly where you want to be. Okay? How's that? Well, anyway, I want to thank you once again for joining me for another perspective. And I want to invite you to listen again. You take care.